Hey guys, it's Serena and welcome back to my channel. If you guys are new to my channel, hi, it's nice to meet you. I'm so glad you are watching this video. I just wanted to let you guys know that the content I create revolves around my nursing journey, just being a pre-nursing college student and giving advice to you guys about all the things that I've already done and kind of have some information about to share with you guys so you guys don't have to go through all the ups and downs that I did. So if you're interested in that and watching some random vlogs of my week, go ahead and subscribe, like this video, and comment down below any types of video you guys want me to do. So let's get started. Alright guys, so today's video I'm going to be talking about everything I can about helping you guys with the TEAS test. So if you guys want to apply for a nursing program, there's a pretty high chance that you have to take the TEAS test. So the TEAS test is just a standardized benchmark test, almost like the SAT, but it has more science-based questions involving anatomy and physiology, some biology, and some chemistry. So today I have my iPad here with me because I have a bunch of notes since I don't want to forget anything. So how long should you prepare for the TEAS test for? I'd say you should prepare for at least a month if you're gonna do like intense studying for that whole month. But if you just want to take it easy and like ease yourself into studying, I would say go somewhere from like 2 to 3 months. But no matter how much time you have, you can always study more intensively if you have less time. The longer you have to study, the higher the chance you have of improving your score. So a few resources that I used included this ATI TEAS study manual. This is the 6th edition 2018-2019 from the website online, ATI TEAS. And I also got that with a pack of 2 online practice tests, which is Test A and Test B. If you do get the practice test, I want you to know that you actually have 4 tries to take those 2 practice tests. So you can take practice test A twice and practice test B twice. So with that being said, the first time I took practice test A, I didn't really study anything very much. I just wanted to see what my base score was in order for me to know what concepts I have to look over, just becoming familiar with the format of the test itself, because it is exactly formatted the way you would take it if you were in a testing room or taking it online. But you also have another chance to take test A and go thoroughly in with the questions if you want to. And you also have test B, and I would recommend taking test B towards the very end of your studying, after you feel like you've learned everything you could have, right before you take your TEAS test, about like a week before. So then if you miss anything on test B, you're able to go over everything, any last minute concepts you have to look over, and then you can retake test B if you really want to. So that is my take on all of the packages that come with this. But if you are going to study using this book, I think that it is important to work your way through the sections in a thorough manner. Don't just like skip over a concept if you think you know it. Just try to read what the summaries are saying. They're really good summaries, and especially in the math, they help you a lot if you're struggling with certain concepts. And I'm stressing the word concepts because there's not like certain questions they're just gonna like throw at you like randomly. What the TEAS test will do is pull questions from the concept bank that they already have, if that makes sense. So if you do get this one, you're pretty much guaranteed to see a question similar to what you have in this book or in the practice test, but not exactly the same. But sometimes they throw in a little curveball and like they have random questions, and sometimes those are only for the questions that they don't include in your score, to see if that would be a valid question for a future exam. In the 4 sections you have reading, math, science, and then English. So if you're struggling more in one area, I would focus more on that. But if you have no idea where to start, just start in the order. I guess it's the easiest way to do it. Using this book, what I did was I read through all of the questions, I tried all of the practice problems, and then at the end of each section, so at the end of the overall reading section, I would take the quiz. And when I took the quiz, I would time myself according to how many minutes per question is comparative to on the actual exam. That way I know that I'm not going over my time and I'm not rushing to complete it during the test. So just trying to pace yourself is a really good way as you study. Same with the math. I would do practice problems, go over the concepts, do the practice problems, and if I didn't understand it, I would review the concepts, and if I still didn't understand it in here, I just try to look up online somewhere where I would look up the topic online and see if they can help me understand what I was missing. And then there's science. Science is a little more lengthy because they have lots of vocab words, lots of specific health systems and everything. So I think it's important for you guys to take your time in the science area, especially if you haven't taken the prereqs yet, being Anatomy 1 and Anatomy 2, or biology, or even chemistry. I didn't personally take chemistry before taking the TEAS test, but I did have A&P 1, 2, and Bio 1. So I feel like taking those classes beforehand did help me because I was able to learn the material when I was taking the class. But when I opened this book, it was more of like a reminder of what I learned like 2 semesters ago. If there's anything in this book within the systems that are confusing for you, I would find a YouTube video that summarizes it, or just try to get a textbook. I was able to, if I forgot something in this one and I was like, oh, I like recognize that word but I don't know what it means and I want a better understanding, I would go into my textbook. So that's a useful resource too. Don't forget about all of the things that you had when you took the class. Like I used a bunch of my notes, I made like study guides and like concept maps while I was taking the class. So if you guys have things like that, I think that'd be really helpful for you too. And then there's also English. So in the English, in this book, it's kind of iffy for me because it was kind of confusing. English is not the best subject for me. Just be aware of like how to spell certain words and like punctuation, like commas and parentheses, and knowing like plural versus singular and like how that's grammatically correct. If this doesn't help you, I have a bunch of other resources that I'm gonna talk about, because for me the English in here was good practice, but it wasn't the most helpful or like convenient. So a few other resources I have for each section would be for reading. There's a YouTuber named Nurse Cheung, and she has a great reading practice question review series. She just goes over questions and like she reads them out loud. She just like has the questions on a PowerPoint slide, reads them, reads the answers, lets you choose the one that you believe is most correct, and then she explains the answer. So that's really helpful, especially with like trying to understand certain diagrams. And for reading, all you can really do is practice, practice, practice. And really for any of this, all you can really do is practice, practice, practice. Other than science, you kind of need to know like a good basis of the human systems and like what the hormones do and everything. Practicing practice questions will be your best friend. So for math, I didn't have very much outside source, but I really did like how the math is portrayed in this book. And I also got this book before I got that ATI's book. My mentor actually recommended that I get the actual ATI's book because the ATI's is the company that is creating the question bank, and like they know the concepts more than any other company could, but that doesn't mean like this book wasn't as helpful. Like this was helpful too. This goes way more into depth about the nervous system, and like there's practice questions and math. So like any book you get will be helpful because it's just more practice for you. And in the books there's also other ways to understand the concepts. And usually they're like the same concepts, just like worded in a different way. So this book was just the ATI TEAS Test Study Guide 2019-2020, and this one was ATI TEAS from the ATI TEAS company 2018-2019 edition. This one I found on Amazon, and I got this one because it was like pretty cheap, so if I had to get this one as well, it didn't really matter that much. So for English, something that really helped me was a PDF that I found on the ATI TEAS Facebook group. If you do have a Facebook, I really recommend joining a TEAS Prep Facebook page. I know it sounds weird, but when you join a Facebook group and you're accepted, then you have access to a bunch of questions that people have. You can help answer other people's questions. People can instantly help you answer a question and understand why. Because when you're studying, like me when I studied at home alone, it was hard to understand why this question was wrong or why my answer was wrong, because those usually aren't in like a test bank. Usually it's just why the correct answer is right. And I think that it's really important to know why that answer is wrong, so next time if you do see it, you'll understand what that answer is if it's part of a different question, and then from there you can do process of elimination. A tip that my brother told me to practice for the English section is, well, I'm really bad with spelling. Like, I am so bad with spelling. It's kind of crazy how grammatically incorrect I can spell one single word. So I looked up a Quizlet, and it had like 300 commonly misspelled words, and I like did the quiz thing. I like typed them as many times as I could, and the ones I kept missing, I like wrote them down by hand. It's just hard to know that if you do miss that specific question, you just had to know the spelling. And I don't want any of you guys to get any points deducted off just because you didn't know how to spell a word. You know what I mean? And for science, sorry I went out of order at this part. So for science, I just have tried best to take your prereqs beforehand so you have a better overall concept of everything, and refer back to your notes from your class if you can. Know all of the body systems and their main functions, like the most important functions that they do. Also in science, if you are struggling with a topic and you really just have to try to memorize it or try to have a better understanding of it, I would go to Science with Susanna on YouTube. She has a whole YouTube channel where she draws out all of the systems, and it's very informative for visual learners because you're not just reading from a textbook. You actually have the visualization, you can write it out with her, and then you can use what you've written to study almost like a diagram concept map. It's pretty interesting. I'll look into that if you really need help with specific areas in your science. So other materials that I have heard helped a lot for some people studying would be Nurse Hub. There's actually a discount code in my description box down below if you want it, if you want to use it. I think it makes everything like $25. I don't really know, I didn't actually use it. I've just like seen it floating around in like the Facebook page and like some group messages. The Mometrix Nursing Study Guide book. I heard that this is very useful because it also goes into depth, much like these two books. But I've also seen that because they're not from the ATI TEAS test, they might have some incorrect information depending on the edition that you get. So just be aware of that. I know there was one person who had a question and it was like calcitonin increases calcium in the blood and parathyroid hormone decreases calcium in the blood, but it's actually the opposite. Calcium actually lowers calcium in the blood, or not calcium, calcitonin, excuse me. Calcitonin lowers calcium in the blood, and parathyroid hormone increases calcium in the blood. I actually did use the Pocket Prep free app. There's only a limited amount of questions you can get from it, if you're using it for free, but you can also pay for the premium edition, whether it's like $15 for like 500 questions. I think they only give you like 100 or 200 questions to start. But honestly, any practice questions you can look at, try to answer, use your time wisely, and like figure it out will help you. As long as you're exposing yourself to the material that is similar to what could be on the test, you're improving your understanding of everything. And make sure you understand why those answers are wrong. One more time. It is really important to understand why the wrong answers are incorrect and why the correct answer is correct. And there's also a bunch of free practice questions online. If you just like look it up, there's like a website from Mometrix. There's a bunch of Quizlets that people have uploaded. The ATI TEAS has a few practice questions from each section. There might only be like 10 questions from each section, but I'm telling you guys, the more practice you do, the more you'll improve. So for some specifics, I would just say for science, know your hormones and your body systems. Like, hormones are so important. Know how they are affecting the body when they're like released. How are they released? What do they do? Important ones would be like aldosterone, ADH, sodium, epinephrine, norepinephrine, PTH, ANP. I'm just listing off a bunch, but just know those. That's really important. I would say know like the organs in the body systems. What does the stomach digest? What type of enzyme is used when you are eating food to like digest carbohydrates, you know what I mean? So just like know those basic things. Don't go like 100% into depth and be like, what is the functional unit of the heart? Like, I mean, there's always a possibility you could get that question, but because it's so specific, it's very unlikely. But you never know. I don't want to say you can never ever get a type of question. Another tip would be to read the questions carefully, whether you're practicing or you're taking the TEAS test especially. Read the question carefully. Don't just skip over like a part of it because you think you know what it's saying. They're different questions, so you have to be very careful about what your brain automatically thinks under like your nerves and your stress. So just like take a breath, read the questions carefully, read them twice if you have to, and read all of the answer choices. Read every single answer choice. Even if you know that A is the correct answer, I can tell you that if you don't read all of the other three to do process of elimination to confirm that this is the right answer, then there could be a better answer underneath the answer you've already chosen. So just be very careful. I feel like everything I'm saying is kind of stressful and also like kind of useful, but you just want to take your time, because rushing through it just to get it done and because you think you know everything, then that leads to more mistakes, and they could be like simple mistakes, like you didn't read the word not. So it's just be very careful, because I want you guys to do as well as you can, and doing like little mistakes like that will like affect your score in the end. And if you don't get the score you want, then you just kind of have to retake the test again, and that's ultimately not what you want to do if you want to get a good score the first time. But if you have to take the test again, by all means do it. If it's going to increase your chances into getting into nursing program, and the nursing program lets you take the test a second time, go ahead, do it. There's nothing stopping you from that, and I think that is the smartest way to go. So a few of the major points I want you guys to take away, if you don't take away anything at all, would be to, if you have a Facebook, join the ATI TEAS test Facebook page. They pretty much accept anyone who's looking into taking the TEAS test anytime soon, and you get instant feedback, which is so nice. And everyone on is so willing to help you, because in that community you all have one goal, and that goal is to become a nurse. And in order to do that, you have to take the TEAS test. So I think that's a really good thing to do. I would say if you do have the means to get this and the practice test, obviously you don't have to, but I think this book is a good overview of everything, and then you get the 2 tests that you could take 4 times. The 2 practice tests that you can take 4 times. Also with a practice test, I'm not sure if I mentioned it, but if you do take the practice test, there's a little timer in the corner, and I don't know, it's probably like, it's like a long time. I think it's like, I don't know, it's like 24 hours or something, but you have like 24 hours to like take the test, but it's just like there to be like an unlimited amount of time, so you can like go over the questions and everything. But for me, I just wanted to try to answer the questions in the same amount of time that I would have to take the test. So I tried to figure all that out. Down below in the description box, I will try to put all of the resources possible that I can find and collect for you guys. Whether that's like the Facebook page, like practice tests, free practice tests online from Mometrix, like Quizlet links. I will try to find everything that I've used. The English PDF, that was really helpful. I would look at that if I were you. Science with Susanna. Like, I will try to put everything down below, and if it doesn't, like, if it's too much in the description box, I'll try to put it in like a Word document or like a Google Drive link or something, just so you guys have an easier place to find everything, because I know that it can be overwhelming to try to do all of this at once and then like have so many things going on and trying to find everything. But if it's all in one place, I think that it's easier for you guys. So I'm going to try my best to figure that out. And yeah, I really hope that this video was helpful for you guys. When I was taking the TEAS test, I searched far and wide for like videos like these that would help me, and one of those videos said to join the Facebook page, and that was like the best decision I ever would have made. Although it sounds so weird, but it's so helpful because everyone is there to help you and you're all there to help each other. So I think that support is really helpful. So yeah, if you like any of my advice in this about what to do if you're a pre-nursing student trying to take the ATI TEAS test, please like this video and subscribe. I want to do as many helpful videos as I can for you guys, because I have tried to do my research with like nursing programs. There should be a video about that coming soon, and I'm so excited to share my nursing journey and just like my pre-nursing student journey and my college journey with you guys, because at the end we all pretty much want the same goal, is to become a nurse. Or if you're just watching me for entertainment, that's great. I'm so glad. So yeah, I really hope this video was helpful. Once again, all of the links are below that I can find and gather. I will do everything that I can in my power to make it easier for you guys to do your best and get the highest score you deserve, because when you're putting in this much effort and make like teeny little mistakes because of like nerves and the time everything comes, it can get frustrating. So in my next video, I'm just going to be talking a little more about my experience taking the ATI TEAS test online due to COVID, and having it proctored and everything. So if you guys are in the same situation, look out for that video coming next. And yeah, turn on your post notifications if you really want to know like the second I upload that video. I'm also going to do my best to post every Monday and Thursday until the fall semester comes. Then we'll see what happens. I might have to switch to once a week, but I do have a bunch of videos coming up, so I'm really excited to share them with you. Once again, thank you guys so much for watching. It means the world to me if you stayed this far. If you guys have any other questions, go ahead and leave them in the comments. I will do my very best to answer them as quickly as I can, because I know some of you guys might be taking the TEAS test like super soon. And thank you for listening to me talk for like a long time. Alright guys, Bye, see you in the next video.